In this review, we are comparing hybrid SUVs. That's right, hybrid SUVs, mid-sized ones. That means we've got a hybrid version of the Toyota RAV4, of the Haval H6, and the Subaru Forester. And just because we're really cheeky, what we've done as well, we've thrown in a diesel SUV as well. It's like throwing a brick into a washing machine. It could ruin everything. But sometimes you've just got to do it. See what happens. Our brick today is the Mazda CX-5 diesel. Now I'm going to tell you something now I probably shouldn't be telling you now. It's going to get into me in a whole lot of hot water. But that CX-5 diesel used less fuel than one of the petrol electric hybrids right here. You'll find out which one later. But it's not all about fuel economy. It's about family practicality, it's about safety, it's about value for money, and a whole lot of other things. And remember, give us a like, one of those, and subscribe. Oh, and if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au.
All of the SUVs on this test cost less than $50,000. Now those are the prices right there. But take a closer look. The Haval H6 Ultra Hybrid looks like it costs the most, but it's actually the drive-away price. Yep, Haval was only doing national drive-away pricing at the time that we made this video. The rest of the prices are the list prices. That means the prices before on-road costs. So just keep in mind that with the Haval's drive-away price, it could change. Actually, even the list pricing could change. So check with your dealer. Now onto the Mazda CX-5 Touring Active Diesel, which comes in at just under $46,000 before on-road costs. The Toyota RAV4 Hybrid we have is the most affordable SUV here. It's the GXL grade and it's the front-wheel drive one. And the Forester Hybrid, it's only about $1,000 more than the RAV4. Let's start with the display screens. The Haval H6 has a 12.3-inch screen for media and your climate control and another 10.25-inch display for your speedo and your revs. There's also a head-up display. The CX-5 is the only other SUV here with a head-up display too, but it has a tiny media screen in comparison to the Haval. It's an 8-inch, the same size that the RAV4 and the Forester get. The Haval has an 8-speaker stereo, the rest have 6 speakers. All have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and get this, the Forester is the only one with a CD player. Yep, and it doesn't have sat-nav either. No, I can tell you which one I'd rather have. The RAV4, the H6 and the CX-5 all have sat-nav. Still, the Forester gets heated front seats, and so does the H6, but its ones are also ventilated. The rest of our SUVs just have seats, and you'll have to warm or ventilate them in some other way. None of them have leather seats. The Havals look like leather, but they're not, trust me. The RAV4's fabric seats aren't trying to pretend they're nicer than they are at all. The Foresters actually feel like they've been upholstered in activewear, and the CX-5s are made of something called Maztex. That's not a made-up word at all, is it? And a suede-like material that's not suede at all. All of our SUVs have dual zone climate control and directional air vents for the kids in the second row, and they all have dark tinted windows in the back too. They all have LED headlights and LED DRLs, plus a proximity key and push button start. Only the H6 has a power tailgate. It's also got a heated steering wheel and a sunroof. It's a big one too. The CX-5 and the Forester have the littlest wheels. They're 17-inch alloys. The RAV4s are 18-inch and the Haval rolls on 19-inch rims.
So there are two standouts here. Now the H6 has got everything you could ever want on board. And the RAV4 has got everything you could ever need. There you go, something to think about. It's hard to beat the Haval H6 though, when it comes to advanced safety tech. I mean, it's the only car here which can park itself. Look, I'll show you. One key parking, and here we go. Well, what's happened? Oh, we're going this way. Look at this. I feel like the Pope. What's happening now? Oh, we're going backwards. I hope it knows what it's doing. Oh, And there we are.
The Haval looks like it's in a different league. Those aren't my words, they're Dean's, and he'd know, because he's been peering at cars through his camera as CarsGuide's videographer longer than anybody. I think he's absolutely right. The Haval looks stunning. From its dazzling grille that only this hybrid gets, to its curved back, with that LED strip which stretches across the tailgate. I bet the CX-5 is fuming. It used to be the ridiculously good-looking one, and those green bits on the grille aren't fooling anybody. It's like a middle-aged man trying to hold on to his youth by wearing skinny jeans and skateboard shoes. But I truly believe it's still beautiful, and that it's elegant design and is hardly dated after all these years. I'm also talking about the Mazda. Elegant and RAV4 have never been mentioned in the same sentence. Well, they have now, but you know what I mean. The Toyota has a more rugged look and still looks modern. But does it have rugged good looks? I look at the front and I think, yeah. And then I look at the back and I think, maybe not. The Forester looks the opposite of modern. Its boxy shape seems to have been around forever. And like your dad's joggers, which he's been wearing for years because there's nothing wrong with them, the styling is almost retro cool. Almost. The thing is, the Forester's sporty interior feels the best, even if the dash is a mess of buttons and icons and information that no one would ever need. The CX-5's interior is far less busy and more premium in its styling. Again, those green elements might appeal to you, but you know what I think. The RAV4's insides are as rugged as its outsides, which is good. But what's not good are the seats. They look and feel very budget. And then there's the Haval. Have a look at this. It's the newest and most minimalist cabin here with its big screens and cleanly designed dashboard.
So the Haval H6 Hybrid wins for design. Now, I have to say though, even though it looks amazing inside and out, the quality and craftsmanship of the materials, or the perceived quality, what I can see and feel, doesn't seem as good as, say, the Subaru Forester or the Mazda CX-5's interior. Looks good though, very good.
If your family has one or two kids, then these SUVs are the perfect size. They aren't too big or too small, and they all have 5 seats. If you have 3 kids, a 7-seater or an 8-seater, such as a Kia Carnival or a Hyundai Palisade, is going to work better for you. So, with family practicality in mind, let's see what these SUVs have to offer. Let's do the boots first, and these are all measured to the cargo covers or the top of the second row back seat. The H6, despite it being a hybrid, has the biggest boot of the lot. The CX-5 has the tiniest cargo capacity. The RAV4's is close to the H6's, and the Forester's is quite a lot less. Cabin storage is good in all of these SUVs. They all have cup holders in the front and the back too, but as you can see, not all door pockets are created equal. Some fit our CarsGuide stunt bottle better than others. The RAV4, the H6 and the Forester all do practicality well in their own ways. I love the floating centre console of the H6. Hello! You can see right through. I like the little shelves in the RAV4's dashboard, and I like how open and airy the Forester's cabin is. Now you might notice I've left the CX-5 off in the special shout-outs, and now that's because there's a bit of form over function going on here. They all have USB ports up front, and the Forester actually is the only one that misses out on wireless phone charging. The H6 is the longest SUV here at 4.7 metres. Even for me at 191 centimetres, I can sit behind my driving position with great legroom and headroom. The CX-5 is 4.6 metres long and has wide opening doors, but access is hampered by the wheel arch and the sloping roofline. The CX-5 also has the worst rear legroom and the worst headroom of the bunch. The RAV4 is 4.6 metres end to end, and it's easy to get into and has good legroom and good headroom. The Forester is 4.64 metres end to end and has the best access thanks to tall, wide door openings. It truly feels like the biggest SUV here when you sit inside. Legroom, headroom, there's gallons of it.
Okay, so the Subaru Forester and the Toyota RAV4 are pretty neck and neck when it comes to practicality. The Forester is super spacious, but the RAV4 has all these little handy shelves here and here for your wallet and your keys and that type of stuff. I also like these really big chunky dials here. They've got a really good feel to them and they're just so easy to use. It's so different to the cabin in the Haval H6, which has all its controls through the screen, which is really frustrating. Just trying to change the climate control temperature is a full-on process, but with this you just go 28. Very good.
Now for our rearward-facing baby seat test. Despite how it looks, this is really serious. I want to see if you can have a rearward-facing baby seat behind a front passenger. That's my height, 191 centimeters. It's a worst case scenario and it's probably never going to happen, but I just wanted to see. And remember, you'll need a baby seat like this for up to the first year of your bub's life. So it's important that everybody has enough space. First, the H6. Yes, adequate room. Now the Forester. Excellent space. Next, the RAV4. Oh, what does that mean? That means just adequate. And now the CX-5. No, not quite. But remember, that's with 6'3" me sitting in the front passenger seat. A smaller person won't have the same problem. The Mazda got its maximum 5-star ANCAP rating in 2017. It's a long time ago now, while the RAV4 and the Forester both were given their 5 stars in 2019. The H6 is the newest car here. It was given the maximum 5 stars in 2022. So while all of these cars have AEB with pedestrian and cyclist detection, with lane keeping assistance and blind spot warning and rear cross traffic alert, the H6 goes even further with technology such as junction AEB.
Okay, now as I mentioned right at the start of this video, we have 3 petrol-electric hybrid SUVs and 1 diesel. The diesel, as I said before, is the CX-5. It's a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. You can see the outputs right there. Moving across to the Forester, it's teamed a boxer engine, a 4-cylinder boxer engine with a fairly small electric motor. So it's the smallest electric motor of the lot here. Those are the outputs right there. Moving up to the Haval H6, it's got a much larger electric motor on board, and they've teamed that in this case with a 4-cylinder petrol as well. And then all the way over here we've got the Toyota RAV4. They've taken 2 electric motors and they've teamed them with a 4-cylinder petrol engine too. Transmissions, this has a continuously variable transmission. It's a CVT. This has a special 2-speed hybrid transmission. The Forester has a CVT as well. And the CX-5 has a good old 6-speed regular automatic. That's all-wheel drive. That's all-wheel drive. And the Haval and the Toyota are both front-wheel drive. Okay, the Subaru Forester Hybrid. Now, I love the regular petrol Subaru Forester. When we compared it against the Sportage, the Tucson and the Outlander a few months ago, I really rated the way it drove, and there's really not much difference between the way that drove and the way the hybrid drives. But there are some downsides. Now the downsides are it does have the CVT, which gives you nothing in the way of acceleration, and also that brake pedal feels quite wooden. So the good points to the Subaru Forester Hybrid: it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, visibility is fantastic. The downsides: wooden feeling brake pedal, and yeah, that CVT, you put your foot down and nothing happens, just a whole lot of noise. Okay, the Mazda CX-5, the brick. Actually, it's the less brick-like out of all of them. It's the most high performance and sporty and fun to drive of the SUVs that we've got here. Those are the good points. The bad points are that it's a diesel, and that's loud. It sounds like a delivery truck, and also it's not as comfortable. So you get really good handling and sportiness, but it's not very comfortable to be in this car as a passenger, and sometimes even a driver. All right, here we go, the Haval H6 Hybrid. Look, this is the newest car here. The hybrid system feels pretty good to me. There are some issues though. This is not the best driving car here. In fact, I think it's the least best, the worst, I think is the right word. There's a couple of reasons for that. The first is that there's quite a lot of torque that's going to the front wheels, and that causes the wheels to break traction quite a bit. That's a bit of an issue. It's not very comfortable to drive either. The steering wheel is quite thin and hard-edged. Over a long distance driving, that sort of gets to you after a while. Other bad points, thick A-pillars, and these wing mirrors are right in my line of sight, so the visibility is not too good either. There are some good points. The acceleration is quite good when you're not breaking traction. I think it's quite refined. It's quite quiet in this cabin at times. You hit a bumpy road and that sound does come in, but for the most part, it's fairly comfortable and not too bad to drive, just not the best. Okay, the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. There's a lot to like here. It's kind of the Goldilocks of our hybrid SUVs here today. It's sporty, it has good handling, but not quite as good as the CX-5, the Mazda CX-5. It's comfortable, but not quite as comfortable as the Subaru Forester, but it's a really good in-between. And it's a really good all-rounder as far as driving goes. So it's got good handling, it's sporty, it's fun, it's comfortable. My goodness, it's pretty darn good. There are some not so good things, but they really are. I'm nitpicking here. The visibility could be better, but you know, it's no Subaru Forester, but it's not a major issue. And what else? All I can say is that the seats feel a bit spongy and not very supportive, as opposed to like the ones in the Haval H6, or definitely the Mazda CX-5s are great, and the Foresters are also really good. So yeah, bad points, not the best visibility and spongy seats, but so many good points to like about this car. It's awesome, awesome to drive. We test these cars under real world conditions. That's right, not in a science lab. We actually drive them on suburban roads, through roundabouts, through shopping centres, over speed bumps. We took them out to the country roads, fast winding country roads, and then onto motorways before winding our way back to the city again. And then we measure how much fuel each one has used at the petrol pump. The Mazda CX-5 actually used less fuel than the Subaru Forester. Yes, the CX-5 is diesel and the Forester uses petrol, but it still used more fuel. That's outrageous. The H6 was pretty fuel efficient, but not quite as fuel efficient as our winner for fuel economy, the Toyota RAV4. That is excellent fuel economy. Let's talk ownership costs. Now you can see the warranty and servicing information for each car on your screen right now. And as you can see, it kind of comes down to a bit of a tie between the H6 and the RAV4. The H6 has a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty. The RAV4 has a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, but it's cheaper to service the RAV4. There you go. You know, you can tell a lot about a car brand by its manual. I mean, look at that. That's the Subarus. Over-engineered, doesn't need to be that good at all. You got the Haval. It looks good, but I'm not sure how it feels. You've got the Mazda. It seems to be all about looks, but actually, there's quite a lot of substance. And then you've got the Toyota. Wipe clean. So our hybrid SUV test with a diesel SUV thrown in for good measure. So who was the winner? Well, it wasn't the Mazda CX-5, no. Yes, it did use less fuel than the Subaru Forester hybrid, but it's not very practical and it's not very good value. So sorry CX-5, you didn't win at all. As for you, you used way too much fuel, but you are very practical. But still, not good enough to win this competition. Over here, we've got the Haval H6. Is it our winner? Well, it's very fuel efficient using the hybrid system. And it's got great advanced safety tech. It's got good practicality, plenty of room, plenty of space, and it's good value for money as well. But it's not particularly great to drive, is it? No. Our winner today is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. That's right. Not only is it the most fuel efficient of all these SUVs, it's actually the best all-rounder when it comes to driving. It's comfortable, but it also has good handling. It's practical, it's got great safety, the servicing costs are very reasonable, and it's the most affordable car here. Well done, you're the winner. So, did I get it right? Do you think one of these other SUVs should have won? Tell me in the comments below, don't hold back. Now if you want to read the full review, go to carsguide.com.au and give me a like. I like them. And also, subscribe. Now where's my brick?